Go.
Awesome. So should I start?
Yeah. All right.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Greetings from Mexico City.
I'm gonna try to show you everybody. Yay! Everybody
Hello,
wave to Israel.
hello, guys. Good evening. Okay, so well, let's get this started. My name is Israel Guzman, and today I'm gonna be talking about how to build your own UI component suite with Angular CDK. A little bit about myself. I've been programming for the past 23 years of my life. I've been working as a software engineer for the past 16 or 17 years, something like that. I'm a computer scientist. I studied that, and I've been using Angular for the past 6, almost 7 years. And I've been working with Angular, AngularJS, and with Angular for the past, I don't know, 2, 3 years since the first alphas. So, okay, the time's short, so let's get started. So, uh, the CDK stands for Component Dev Kit, and it's a project maintained and developed by the Angular Material team. However, they're different projects. Even though the Angular Material components are built on top of the CDK is its own project, and its main goal is to solve some lower level problems through its modules. For instance, they have a stepper, so you can build your own stepper, and they just provide the logic for going through steps and fulfilling every single step, and you provide the templates and the CSS. Today, I'm gonna work with the overlay module, and it's a live demo time. So here I have an app that I created with the CLI that's running, and it has nothing but whatever it has. When you start it, the only thing that I did in advance though was that I added the CDK and the material libraries um, in advance. So I'm gonna add a toolbar to my app, so it looks a little more decent. And the first thing that we're gonna do is make a library. So in Angular CLI version 6, now we can have multiple projects in our workspace, uh, having like a monorepo fashion thing, and we can have different libraries, so we can reuse code through all our apps. So in order to make a library, we're just gonna use ng generate library. We're gonna call it UI component suite. So that's the first thing we need to do. And now the CLI has created a folder here that says projects, and here's our library. The CLI scaffolded a couple of things for us, the module and the best practices for the library, so we can actually share these with the world through npm. So I'm gonna get rid of those the service and the component that it added, because we won't be using those. Here in the public API TS is where we export our services, components, etc. And in our module, uh, I'm just gonna get rid of that component at the moment, and I'm gonna cd into the project folder. I called it UICS source library, and we're gonna generate a component through the CLI ng generate component, and we're gonna call it alert. So now we have this component here, and we're gonna use it in our module. and I'm gonna put it here in the exports. And the reason why is so our other applications can use this component. Uh, so now imagine we have a reusable library that we can share with the world and throughout different projects, and it's full of amazing components, right? So we have this alert component that we will be building with the CDK. So here in our module, we have it in the exports, and here I'm just gonna add it to the public API TypeScript file. So I have the alert folder and my alert component. And in order for us to use our libraries, we need to build them. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna ng build and then the name of my library, which is UICS. Now the CLI is building our library, so we can use it in our application. So now I'm gonna just serve the app. In the meantime, I'm just gonna open the app component module. Here in the app component module, in order to use our library, I'm gonna just import my library. So it was called, just give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. So I'm just gonna import the library, which is called, I forgot the name, UICS. So it's UICS module. So now we have the module. Therefore, we can use our components from our module. So if I go here to my app, I'm just going to use my live alert component. And the difference between the name, like for the naming between apps, is that here, if it was in my app, it would be an app alert component, right? But this one's a library component. So that's the reason why I have this lib. Now, if I come here to my app, you can see that I have the alert component from my library, and I'm using it inside my app. So I can have multiple apps and just reuse them. But as I mentioned, the important thing here though is that you can export this library to the world through through npm. You can share it. So okay, the next step is we're gonna do something fun with the CLI. Just a simple alert. All right. So for that, the first thing that I need to do is come to my library module, and here I'm gonna import the overlay module from the Angular CDK. And the overlay module has a lot of goodies, to be honest. When you're building an overlay, it can get really complicated. Let's say you open a pop-up menu or something and you scroll down, you have to figure out the scrolling so you can change the position of the, or you can reposition the component. So that could be tricky. So the next thing that I'm gonna do is a service. I'm gonna call it overlay service. And here I'm gonna make a component. I'm gonna make my service. So I'm gonna call it overlay the service, and this is a service. Sorry about the cars. I live really close to a big avenue, so sorry about the noise. So this is a service, and we're gonna provide it in root. So the next thing that I'm gonna use here is I'm gonna have a private overlay, and it's gonna be of type overlay from the CDK. And we're gonna have a method called open. This method is the one that's gonna create and open the overlay. Okay, so I have the overlay, and I'm just gonna create it. But if we go to the declaration for this function, we can see that it returns an overlay reference. So if we go back to the service, now we know that it is an overlay reference. So let's make a constant with it. Overlay, an overlay reference. Now, and I'm going to explain how it works. This overlay reference, it's going to attach to a component portal. And the component portal is the one that's going to embed my alert component. So I can have an overlay, and then on top of that, it's going to be my component. So it can be like a complete big or insane component, or something bigger than just like a paragraph, an HTML paragraph. So now we're going to make the constant for our alert portal. And this is going to be a new component portal. This one comes also from the CDK. Here we're going to pass our alert component, which is the one that we saw before. And the only thing that I have left now is to attach the portal to the overlay. So I'm going to use the overlay reference, and I'm going to attach the alert portal. In order for us to use this service outside of the library, we need to go to our module, and here in the providers, we need to add it. We need to add the service, the overlay service, which I don't think I named because, yeah, auto completion. So now we have an overlay service. So we need it in the providers, and here in our public API, we're also going to add it. So we have an overlay service. Add it. Now we're gonna build again our library so we can use it. I'm gonna open my app module. Let me just close the file. So I'm gonna go to my app module, and now I need to come here in my module and add the alert component to my entry components. The reason why I need to do this is because whenever you create a component on the fly, it needs to be declared in the entry components. Before I made the component inside here, right? This is this line that I deleted, but now our service is using the CDK's overlay to create that alert component on the fly. So I'm gonna make a button here. That's the one that's gonna open our overlay. So it's gonna be a net button, and don't be confused by these. Like, I'm using the material, the Angular material for the toolbar and the button, just because I want to, but it's not necessary. The CDK is completely apart from the material, the Angular material. So I'm gonna add here an event binding, and let's just call our method open overlay. That's it. And now we just need to add it to our app component. Get rid of that title. Here we're gonna use our overlay service from our library. Overlay service. And here inside our method, we're just gonna open the overlay through our service. And hold on a second. I'm just missing something real quick here. Just missing some CSS, otherwise it's gonna look like horrible. And let me just rebuild this real quick. And so it takes that change, and now I'm just gonna just serve it. If I come here to my component. Oh, hold on a second. I think I'm missing something. Sorry about that. Whoa, what's this? That's a Selenium something thing. Let me just serve ng serve. This is weird. Child process, Angular. I don't know. This is extremely weird. Hold on a second, guys.
No worries.
So just have the module, my alert component, overlay service here in the providers. And it's called overlay service. It's called Angular component. Overlay service, that works. So I have the module here in the imports, the alert component in the entry components. So I don't know, I've never seen that error in my life. Hold on a sec. Oh, that's why. Hold on a second. I'm building something else. ng build UICS. UICS. Let me build it. Spelling it okay. So that's not the problem. Just need to insert. But even if I open the this is weird. This is something. So cannot resolve child process. What's that? Have you guys ever seen anything like that?
What's the error? We can't
Just
really see it.
It says Selenium WebDriver Firefox binary.
Huh.
I wonder if I ran out of memory or something weird, because it's nothing even related to my components or anything. It's just like literally says cannot resolve child processing Angular Selenium WebDrive. That's so weird. Let me just do something real quick. I wonder if it's something with my WebStorm or something. That's really weird. Just give me one sec. I actually say what?
Israel, just go to your Karma config and remove all of your browsers in there.
Okay. So where's the Karma config? Okay, there it is. Yeah. So all of this plugins or
in the browsers, just remove Chrome out of there.
okay, let's see if
because you're not running tests anyway.
Yeah,
that works.
Yeah, I'm not. That's weird though. I wonder why it's doing that.
Yeah, that's super weird.
No, it still says something about
man.
Yeah, Firefox binary child process. Like no clue what this is. Okay, let me check if if I can show you the other thing. So it basically was going just to open the overlay, and it was just show the same component that I showed you before, just the I am an alert or alert works. That was the only thing that it was gonna do, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. So let me just stash this, and now I'm just gonna ng service. Because I actually prepared something else, something else for you guys, and this is what I actually wanted to code, but there was no way I could have done it in like 20 minutes. So this is actually it. Hold on, what? Oh, never mind. Oh, geez, hold on a sec. I didn't check out my branch. Now there you go. Oh, geez, hold on. There you go. I actually built something more complex, because just showing an alert is nothing too excited. But the idea here, though, was what I built, what I wanted to show. So if I go to Photos, Google, I wanted to mimic this. So if I click here on the TS, on the photo, I don't see anything. But if I move my cursor to the left, I see this button. If I go to the right, I see this one. And if I click on the back stuff, it doesn't close, right? Now this is the last picture, therefore I don't see this button, just this one, and the same when I go to the first one. So I wanted to mimic that, and this is what I actually prepared for you. I just wanted to show you how to use the overlay first and then explain the code. So I just have these photos, and here this is the first one, so I don't see the button, but if I go to the right, I see the button, right? And I see both if I move my cursor. But if I go to the very last picture, I don't see it. And the same if I go to the first one. But if I click on the black stuff, nothing happens. And this is the magic of the CDK. I'm using an overlay and I'm passing a configuration to it here. As you can see, if I go to my app component, it's exactly the same that I had before. I'm just ng4 to show all the photos. And whenever I click on a photo, I pass the index. And if I go to my component, I literally just have the array of photos, and I have the same overlay service that I had before, and I have this dot open method. The only difference is that I'm passing the index for the photo, and if I go to the alert service here in the alert service, it's overlay service. It's basically the same I had before, just in separate methods. I'm just using the overlay to create my overlay. But the most important thing here is this. I'm using the overlay position, and then I'm saying that's global. That means that the overlay is gonna be like on top of everything, and it's gonna be center horizontally and vertically, just so it shows the content in the middle. And then I'm passing that to the configuration. And this has backdrop is that black screen that I'm showing you. And I could just change how that backdrop looks. If I come just here to the style, this is the color I decided. It's a 1, right? So it could have been like 0.5, so it'd be a little transparent or something. And that's basically it. And for the component, the actual logic for going through the pictures is this directive that I built. It has this context with the next and previous events, and just some booleans to hide the buttons, and the logic to cycle through the pictures. So the actual component, the complicated part is the directive, which is the actual carousel. But the overlay part is extremely simple. Is the way I showed you, just with some more tweaks and configuration. But it's really powerful though. So sorry, I don't know what happened to my to my to my oh sorry, to my code. Like I don't know why it was crying about, I don't know, something related to testing. So anyway, sorry about that. So, but this is the component, and I can share it to GitHub, so you can just download it. I just want to add some comments, and I'll post it later on for you guys, so you can download it and play with it or check the directive. And I think I will also add tests. So let me go back to my presentation. So the Angular material, the dialog, the snack bar, the menu, the tooltip, and the autocomplete are built on top of the overlay. And what else could we build? Well, the carousel, an art gallery. We also could make steppers, and we are not tied to Angular. We can make whatever we want. And now with Angular CLI 6, we can just have multiple projects as well as multiple libraries that we can share to the world or share it internally or just use it through all our applications, which is super, super useful. So I think that's about the time. I don't know if I still have some time or not, um, but that's pretty much what I have for you guys. Thanks.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks a lot. Let me. Does anybody have any questions for
Okay.
Israel? I can go around with a microphone if you do. Anyone? Yes. Questions? Going once. Going twice.
Yes, I'll make a
Nick's got
comment. I just wanted to say thank you. We did have, I helped with the Node meetup in the past, and we had somebody in Hawaii who was outside a public library while there was a thunder and lightning storm. So I think we managed to deal with the cars pretty just fine here.
Okay, perfect.
Well, cool. I guess that's it, Israel. Thanks a lot for your
Awesome.
time.
Okay, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it or learn a little bit about the CDK and how easy it is to make overlays. It has a lot of things to offer. And it's not too hard. The Angular Material team is actually currently working on better, probably examples and docs. But the project itself is pretty solid already, and you can build awesome things like the component, the gallery component I built, mimicking the Google Photos. I don't know, probably took about 45 minutes, an hour to build, and making an overlay on like by yourself would have been uh, quite quite challenging. So it's good stuff for any component you're building, even if it's a whole suite or just your own component. So thank you very much for the invitation. I'm really happy about it and hope you will enjoy it, guys.
Great. Thanks a lot, Israel.
Okay. Have
Have
a
a
good
good
one,
night.
guys. Enjoy it.
Bye.
Okay, bye bye.